But first thing, you need to make sure that you are able to use the CSM for Intune service. And we have a link here with instructions, more detailed instructions, but basically you need to make sure that you have this Intune available, you have the licenses to use the Intune in our management portal, where you are able to select the applications that you want to include to your service. And these are public versions, so always available for you. You are able to anytime include applications and also remove applications from the service. And in addition to these applications, we are able to provide you any custom applications also. So after you have selected the applications, the next step is to connect your Intune tenant to our service. And we are using Active Directory-based applications to do that. So we have two different applications. Center Azure AD Connector is the application that connects to your Azure AD and reads the groups from there, because we need to have the groups later on when we create the deployments. The second application is CSM for Intune application, and that application itself is used to manage your Intune tenant. So basically that will require access to your applications inside Intune. And both of those are these Azure AD applications. So basically exactly the same way as the other applications, the tenant administrator needs to consent the permissions for these applications. So maybe you are not able to do them by yourself, but the tenant admin in your environment is able to give the access to the applications. So basically just specifying the tenant name and linking that to our management portal. And on this stage already we are checking that you have granted the proper permissions to our application, so they are able to contact your tenant and reach the groups from there. And after this configuration is done, then we are ready to start to create the deployment processes itself. So once again, from this service status page, you are able to go directly to the management of these deployment processes. And as you are able to see, I have here already created some deployment processes. So you are able to create any number of different deployment processes based on the needs of your environment. When I select this browser's deployment process, I'm able to select which applications I want to distribute using this deployment process. And in this case, I have selected that Google Chrome and Mozilla Firefox are the applications that I want to distribute using the process that I will define. And the process itself, it's defined in the Deployments tab. And in this deployment process, I have included 4 different deployment steps. And the first step where everything is started is the deployment to one of my Azure AD groups called Technical Pilot. And if I go into the edit mode, we are able to see what kind of configuration you are able to specify for each of these different deployment steps. So the first one, Technical Pilot, is the target for this step. I have selected that this deployment type is required. You would be able to also create available deployments. Then I have selected that, okay, I want to show all notifications to my end users, but you would be able to hide them all or just show notification if restart is required to finish the installation. Then additional Intune related configuration is, for example, these restart settings. You would be able to specify how do you want to act when restart is required to finish the installation of this, in this case, Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. So these settings will let you do that then. And then email notifications, these are related to our CSM service. So you are able to specify email addresses that would get notification when the deployments are created or when the application itself is created into your tenant. And of course, if there is some problems, some errors connecting, for example, to your tenants, you would be able to specify email addresses where these error information notifications are sent. And on the scheduling side, I have selected for my pilots that application availability is as soon as possible. And also I have selected that installation deadline is soon as possible. So in this configuration, whenever we release new version of Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, it would be immediately available and immediately installed to the devices or users belonging to this technical pilot group. So immediately make the application available and installed to the devices and groups there. And in the next step in my deployment process, I have specified that the target is IT department. I could also make the application availability scheduled, but because this assignment type is required, that basically only tells to the Intune when to start to download the installation media. So at least for now, the Microsoft Intune service does not provide a way for the user to start the application installation when they want. So it's just controlling when the installation media is started to download onto the clients. I would be also able to specify day of the week for the deployment process. So if I want these applications to be forced on installation only on Wednesdays, that could be possible. And also you are able to specify day of the month if you want to install the application specifically only on certain dates of the month. And if you have several the Intune tenants available, you are also able to include any tenant into your deployment process. So you would be able to create single deployment process that will deploy the application to all of your tenants. We are able to see also summary information about the installations directly from our management portal. So once again, in the service status page, you are able to see the deployment summary for devices, and also beneath here is the installation summary based on the users where you have distributed the application.